I hope it works, because I've had like, about an hour's worth of video so far. If it's not working, it's gonna be a pain.
That's our name.
Oh, it's not too bad, is it?
Oh.
Well, Tony, thanks for taking part in this interview. We've known each other for quite a while now, I think 7 years. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, you were one of the first participants.
I think it probably was, yes.
Yeah, it's been, about 2 years now?
October 2017.
And it's now October 2019,
Yep,
so
2 years.
2 years. That's quite a long time. So if you don't mind, Tony, probably the best thing to do is just tell people why you got onto the program and what it's done for you.
I needed to lose weight, I knew that. And basically, it's worked. And it's the only one I've ever been on that has worked. I'm now 80. I first started dieting in my 30s. None of them ever worked for long term. Probably because of my job. We had to eat what was put in front of you.
Just to give people an idea of what you did, that might be helpful, just in case they thought you were in a prison camp or something.
Effectively, I probably was. I went to sea for a living in the Merchant Navy, travelling all over the world, and the aptly named cooks weren't chefs, that's for sure. So you really had to put up with whatever you got, and that was fine. Nowadays they have a lot more consideration of what they're putting in front of you, but in those days, no.
Yeah.
And so dieting wasn't something that worked too well anyway. But this one, it's been absolutely no problem at all. I've had absolutely no problem with it, and I've lost over 20 kilos, so it's been well worth it.
And the other thing too is the diabetes, isn't it? Because prior to doing
that was the benefit that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, because the other thing too is you had a heart attack. Yeah, that's right.
I've had 2 heart attacks.
So I guess the point I'm trying to make there with regards to the heart attack was that in a lot of ways, I remembered that your sugar levels were actually not too bad. I think the HbA1c was almost in the low 50s or something. But you still had a heart attack.
Yep.
Which the impression I got from that was, even though the blood test said your sugar levels were fine, your system clearly wasn't, because otherwise you wouldn't get a heart attack.
That's right.
So my concern there is, okay, we got you on all these pills for the diabetes, and your sugar levels are supposedly good, but you still got a heart attack, so something's not right.
Yeah.
The blood pressure was okay, the sugar levels were supposedly okay, and you still got a heart attack.
Yeah.
So
true, but I was carrying far too much weight as well, which certainly wasn't helping. And I felt a lot better since going on the program. The fact that I'm on this program plus the program I'm on after the heart surgery,
the cardiac rehab,
with the CEPs, that's all been brilliant. Coupled with you.
Yeah.
And your side of the program, and it's all worked so far as I'm concerned. And I'd like to add in here that the fact that you are working with the CEPs is much appreciated by them.
Yeah.
A lot of health professionals haven't been cooperating with them, so they appreciate somebody like you.
Cool. I think one of the big issues is that it's much easier to give people a bunch of pills than to focus on lifestyle type stuff. The feeling I get from, and the understanding I have from doing a bit of reading, is that patients are not opposed to lifestyle changes. They're not. But it needs to be something that's doable, and it needs to give them a result, right? Yeah. So I think no one likes to do something if it doesn't give them any result. And that's one of the big problems. The other thing about lifestyle changes, which is essentially what we've done, is stickability. I mean, it's been 2 years, so presumably it's sticking.
Exactly.
But my question to you is, How easy or hard is it to stick to something like this? Because I regard it as a lifestyle change in terms of the way you eat and the way you move and all that kind of stuff. Is it something that you believe is maintainable, or is it hard or easy to maintain?
I found it easy.
Yeah.
Very easy. Right from the word go. I gave up breakfast. Essentially, I gave up lunch, apart from usually something like a boiled egg.
Mm-hmm.
And that meal in the evening is the main meal, and that's it, basically. Other than that, is the odd snack.
I mean, prior to starting...
I also have this consciousness of what I'm eating.
Yeah.
So
and you're not grumpy.
Oh, that's the wife, by the way. Thanks, Margaret. Tony is less grumpy. So now we don't know whether there's an effect of the program or not, but we'll take credit. So
fair enough. Yeah. But no, I mean, altogether, I feel better.
Yeah.
That's the big thing, and which is probably why I'm not so grumpy. But it's been easy for me. That's the big thing. It's been easy, and it has been a life change.
Yeah.
That I can maintain quite easily. We were out last night. I was watching what I was eating. And automatically it's, well, you don't have that, that's potato. You don't have that, that's high carb. It's easy.
Yeah.
You know.
It's like an automatic filter.
It's an automatic
Yeah.
filter, and it's built up over the couple of years.
Yeah.
But it had a pretty immediate effect. That was the thing that sold it to me, was the fact that I started losing weight straight away.
Yeah.
And it was easy.
You say that you've tried dieting before in the past. I mean, what did you actually try before doing anything like this?
There was one of my GPs in England put me on. I got a feeling that it didn't scare you off baked beans for a start. I can always remember that bit, but it didn't last.
Yeah.
And of course, as I say, my career at sea didn't help.
Yeah.
Because it was like being effectively in the services.
Mm.
The food was what was put in front of you, and nobody was thinking in those days of controlling obesity because it hadn't become a thing to worry about.
Yeah.
Nowadays, of course, it's a very different matter.
Well, one of the things I like to ask people too is how did everyone else in the household deal with the change in diet or food?
Well, it was only my wife and myself, of course.
Hi, Margaret.
and she just adapted to it as well, and basically she actually eats very much the same way as I do.
Yeah. Well, was that tolerable, Margaret, in terms of eating what Tony was eating?
Not really. No. No. And I do, you see, with this problem, I eat very small meals.
Yeah.
So I still eat a potato or two.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, you know.
But you've never had a real weight problem anyway.
Well, not really, but I was a bit overweight.
Yeah.
But not
So you've
excessively.
You've picked up a little bit of an advantage because you have lost a bit of weight yourself.
I mean, the way that you're eating now, how do you find it? Is it? Did you ever get bored or?
On the odd occasion, yes, yeah. But then, if I succumb and have something that doesn't fit with the diet, the next day or even the same day, I'm looking at what I'm eating.
Yeah.
And thinking, now I've got to compensate for that luxury that I had at some stage. And but I don't find it a disadvantage. It's quite easy.
Because one of the things that I like to focus on is that people have to live their lives. So how do you cope with things like variations, like birthday parties, gatherings, things like that. I mean, how much do you alter the way you eat with what you're doing?
Well, if we're out with other people at a birthday party or something like that, then I'll just have the usual things that they have. Because they're not going to be catering to me, that's for sure.
Yeah, and that's not a problem. You don't have to
And
be
it's,
super
it's,
strict
it's
about it.
not a problem
or-
because I can make up for it later.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. And this is one thing I've noticed while I've been on it. I mean, I've been on internet programs,
Yeah.
watching what other people are doing, like Diet Doctor and one or two others. And I look at them and I think, why are they so worried about calories and all this sort of thing? Because I've never had to worry about that.
Yeah. No counting.
There's no counting. And yet they're all counting calories and they've got little things that measure their calories. Why? I haven't had to do any of that. And this to me is people making it too complicated
Yeah.
and worrying over things that I've never worried about, and yet I've lost weight.
Yeah.
And I feel a hell of a lot better.
Mm.
Enough said as far as I'm concerned.
I think it's much better to focus on the few small things that work rather than
Yes.
all that complexity.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. In your mind, what do you think about what people would say if they're thinking about whether they want to do something like this? Is it for a specific type of person or a specific type of personality? Who do you think this suits? I mean, does it matter? Do you have to be particularly strong-willed or anything like that?
I don't think so, because
Yeah.
I don't consider myself to be strong-willed. I, in my career, had to be able to concentrate on things that mattered, otherwise there was going to be a hell of a big bang. And a very expensive one as well. And it wasn't mine to break. So, but yes, I've had to concentrate on things to progress in my career. This was a progression for me.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw it was working, and that was literally in weeks, then it was a no-brainer after that. And so I don't think it particularly matters what sort of a person you are, providing you are serious about what you're going to do, what you're aiming for.
It's like everything else in life, though, isn't
Yeah.
it? I mean, if you're not serious about anything, you're not never gonna
No.
get any result anyway, because you don't stick to anything.
Well, that's right, yeah. But as I said before, all my previous attempts have never worked.
Yeah.
Possibly it had something to do with my career. Possibly this has worked so well for me because I haven't had to do a day's work afterwards.
Yeah.
Somebody who's got a hard physical job
Yeah.
might find it a lot harder.
Yeah.
But as is now established, exercise isn't the be-all and end-all for losing weight, which a lot of people don't realise.
Yeah. It actually, by far and large, it doesn't really seem to help that much.
No, but people who have a hard physical job might find it difficult.
True.
My son-in-law would probably find it difficult.
And the thing is, he could potentially actually eat more because if he's got more muscle mass anyway,
Yeah,
that could compensate for it.
but he's also got a big belly.
Yeah, yes, he is overweight.
He definitely needs to
Yeah.
lose weight.
Yeah.
But I think he'd find it difficult to commit
Yeah.
himself to it. That's the problem. I've got nothing else to do but commit to it
Yeah.
because I've been retired through the whole process. So maybe that's had an effect.
From your perspective, does age really matter? I mean,
Oh no.
yeah. I mean,
It's just the fact that I can concentrate on this
right. Fair point. Yeah.
because I'm retired and I've got nothing else to worry about.
What if
Well, I don't have to earn a living, shall we say.
what if someone's say 75 or 80 what if they say, look, what does it matter whether I do anything like this anyway? Because I'm 75 or 80. I mean, what would you say to them? Is it still worthwhile doing or not?
I had a second heart attack.
Yeah, that's no fun.
Which was no... Well, if it hadn't been for you picking up the signs when I told you about them, I wouldn't have realised I had a heart attack.
I remember that. We were doing a well check and I was like, hey, look, I think you've had a heart attack.
Basically, I had a restless night. I couldn't go to sleep. It felt that I pulled a muscle in my back.
Yeah.
Told you about it. Wasn't going to, but the trouble and strife said yes, tell.
Yeah.
And you always do as you're told, of course. And
it's okay to be grumpy about it, though.
But it was like giving up smoking with my first one. This one was get the weight off.
Right.
And you coming in with this program at that time was an optimum. And it was the nudge I needed to do something.
It was actually quite serendipitous anyway, because I literally only at that time started discovering this kind of stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So I think timing wise it was good.
Timing wise everything fell into place.
Except the heart attack, of course. I mean.
Well, yeah. But it was the nudge I needed.
Yeah.
And then you coming in with this suggestion and this program was all a bonus as far as I was concerned. So yes.
Well, I mean, thanks for sharing your experience. I think it's quite helpful for people to hear it as it is, because my view about this is that maybe this kind of stuff isn't for everyone, and you know,
that's one of the things I say to people when I say I've lost 20 odd kilos, and I say it's not going to be for everybody.
Yeah.
But then all the ones I've tried before haven't worked. This one has. And
I also think is you can't attribute what you get out of this to everything. I think some people might like to attribute too many things to it.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to be quite focused about it. You know, it's not gonna cure cancer. It's not gonna do all these kinds of stuff. It's almost for a specific purpose. But some of the bonuses you get out of it are pretty good.
Yep.
Like in your case, you know, like joints are better,
Yes.
mood's better, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I tend to regard those as bonuses.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm as I always tell people, I'm not going to be buried. They're going to send me to the scrapyard because I've got so much metal in me. But I'm much better now for the loss of weight, the loss of pressure on joints and that sort of thing. The arthritis isn't bothering me nearly as much as it was.
And we actually took you off all your blood pressure pills, didn't we?
We're off the blood pressure pills.
Yeah.
That's something that Jocelyn Benatar can't get over, I don't think.
Your cardiologist, yeah.
She can't, but she's quite happy.
Yeah.
She's another one who's quite happy with it. So
maybe she doesn't understand why your blood pressure's come down. I'm not really sure.
I think she does, and she realises, because I'm always singing the praises of the program. I don't see her that often. I see her twice a year.
Yeah, not
Yeah,
real.
it's only twice a year.
Also, she sees the difference in the time interval. Yeah.
So everybody's happy with it. That's the main thing. You're happy with it. Margaret and I are happy with it. So
well, the most important thing is
cool.
you got to get something out of it.
I'm off all these drugs.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So yeah, it's all good.
Well, thanks for your time. I mean, I think
You're
it's good
very welcome.
It's good for people to hear experiences from other people who've done it, and
Yes.
especially 2 years. I mean, what I always tell people is I want to see them in 5 years and you're good.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't really want to do something that's like a temporary thing for a few months. I don't think that's beneficial to anyone.
No. No. This to me has pointed out that if I can stick with it, I can do it.
Yeah. Well, thanks again.
You're welcome.
It is pretty.